Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of American history in the palm of your hand, something so common yet so mysterious that collectors will pay hundreds, sometimes thousands, just to own it. That's the allure of the 1969 D Lincoln penny, a coin that has intrigued numismatists for decades. If you've ever wondered why a seemingly ordinary penny can hold such a storied past, you're about to find out. This is not just any coin. It is a piece of the Lincoln legacy, a snapshot of America in a turbulent era, and a treasure that continues to captivate collectors today. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which first debuted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The D mint mark indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the two primary mints producing pennies at that time, alongside Philadelphia. At first glance, it might look just like any other penny in your pocket. Coppery in color, small in size, and bearing Lincoln's dignified portrait, it seems ordinary. But a closer look reveals a story that goes far beyond its modest appearance. The year 1969 was a significant one in American history. The country was in the midst of social and political change. The Apollo 11 moon landing would happen just months later, and the Vietnam War loomed large in the national consciousness. Yet, amid these monumental events, the Denver Mint continued its steady production of coins, including the Lincoln Cent. The 1969 D penny represents a snapshot of this era, a tangible connection to a moment when the nation was looking forward while still grappling with the challenges of the present. From a design perspective, the 1969 D Lincoln penny follows the familiar pattern that had been established for decades. The obverse, or front, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Lincoln's profile faces right, his expression calm and thoughtful, symbolizing the integrity and resilience of the man who led the country through its greatest moral and political crisis. The date, 1969, appears to his right, accompanied by the small D mint mark just below it, a subtle but crucial identifier. On the reverse, the coin bears the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The building is detailed, with the columns and statue inside rendered with surprising precision for such a small surface. What makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny especially interesting to collectors is not just its design, but its potential for errors and varieties. This coin is famous in numismatic circles because of the 1969 D double die obverse variety. In certain examples, the date and inscriptions appear doubled, almost as if someone stamped the coin twice. This doubling is subtle yet unmistakable to the trained eye. Coins with this double die error are exceedingly rare and can fetch astonishing sums at auction, with some examples selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Even for pennies without errors, the 1969 D is notable because it represents one of the higher mintage years for Denver pennies, making the error varieties stand out even more in comparison to the sheer number of normal coins. The metal composition of the 1969 D penny also contributes to its appeal. Pennies of this era were primarily made of a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gives the coin a warm reddish-brown hue when new, although decades of circulation often leave them darker or worn. The high copper content means that these pennies have intrinsic value beyond their face value, especially in the eyes of collectors who prize original luster and minimal wear. The combination of historical significance, distinctive design, and the possibility of rare errors makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny a compelling collectible. So why exactly is this penny considered valuable? In most cases, value in coins is determined by rarity, condition, and demand. While millions of 1969 D pennies were produced, very few survived in pristine condition or with the sought-after double die error. Collectors actively search through bags of circulated coins, hoping to find that one perfect specimen with sharp detail and original luster. Even standard 1969 D pennies can command modest premiums if they are in uncirculated condition. When you factor in the potential for error coins, the stakes rise dramatically. Real-world examples illustrate this rarity. One notable sale involved a 1969 D double die obverse penny graded MS65, meaning it was in mint state condition with minimal blemishes. This coin sold at auction for over $30,000, demonstrating just how valuable these tiny pieces of history can be when found in exceptional condition. Even coins in lower grades with visible doubling can command several $1,000s, making it worth the effort for collectors to scrutinize each coin carefully. By comparison, a circulated 1969 D penny without errors might be worth only a few dollars, but the thrill of discovering an error variety turns the hunt into a potentially life-changing moment. Identifying a genuine 1969 D penny, especially if you are looking for the double die variety, requires careful attention. Authentic coins will have consistent metal composition, weight, and diameter. The key is examining the obverse under magnification, looking for doubled lines in the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." The doubling appears most prominently on the digits of the date, where each numeral seems to have a slight shadow or a second impression. Be wary of counterfeit coins or altered pieces. Many fakes exist because of the high market value, often created by artificially doubling the die using engraving or striking techniques. Knowledgeable collectors rely on certified grading services to verify authenticity and protect their investment. Beyond the financial aspect, the 1969 D Lincoln penny is full of surprising details that make it a joy to study. For instance, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse contains a tiny depiction of Lincoln himself seated inside the building, an almost hidden Easter egg of design that many casual observers overlook. The penny also reflects the broader cultural trends of the late 1960s, a time when coin design was evolving to commemorate historical events and figures in more intricate ways. These small design choices connect the coin to a larger narrative about America's values and the ways it chooses to honor its leaders. Collectors love the 1969 D Lincoln penny today because it represents a blend of accessibility and potential discovery. For many, collecting pennies is a gateway into numismatics, a way to learn about history, art, and even metallurgy through everyday objects. The 1969 D offers the excitement of finding a rare error in a coin that millions of Americans once used daily. It is a tangible connection to a bygone era, a way to hold history in your hand, and perhaps even make a wise investment. Every scratch, shine, or doubling tells a story, and the search for these coins keeps collectors engaged and curious, even decades after the coins were first minted. As we wrap up, think about the next time you pick up a penny. It may seem insignificant, just a small, copper-colored disc, but hidden among ordinary coins could be a remarkable piece of history. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is more than just currency. It is a symbol of a particular moment in time, a testament to the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and a treasure that continues to excite collectors. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or simply someone who enjoys the thrill of discovery, keep an eye out for that small coin that could carry a story worth thousands of dollars. The next 1969 D you find could be more than pocket change. It could be a window into history waiting to be uncovered. Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so common in circulation that most people overlook it. Yet for collectors, it carries a story, a mystery, and sometimes even a fortune. Today, we're diving into the world of one such coin, the 1970 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you might find in your pocket. But for those who know, it's a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. This is the coin that tells a story of a nation, a mint, and the subtle quirks that can make a seemingly ordinary penny extraordinary. The 1970 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. For most Americans, pennies are just small change, but each one carries a blend of art, history, and manufacturing precision that can make certain issues stand out to collectors. The 1970 D is one of those issues, a seemingly unassuming coin with subtle features and a story worth exploring. In 1970, the United States was in a period of economic change. The nation had just passed through the tumultuous 1960s, and the production of coins reflected both the need for mass circulation and careful minting standards. The Denver Mint produced over 5 billion Lincoln cents that year, making it one of the higher mintage years. Yet within those billions, certain factors, like errors, variations, and coin condition, have made specific coins highly sought after. The 1970 D Lincoln penny is composed primarily of copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc. This composition was consistent with pre-1982 pennies, which means it has that rich, reddish-brown hue that collectors love. The obverse features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile has been unchanged for decades, a constant symbol of integrity and perseverance. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. These designs are instantly recognizable, yet it's the subtle details that make certain coins, like the 1970D, stand out. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1970D penny is the presence of certain errors, the most famous being the double die obverse variety. In this error, the date and lettering appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This is not something visible to the casual observer, but under magnification, the doubling becomes clear. Coins with this feature are extremely rare, and collectors often pay a premium for them. Another point of interest is die cracks or minor planchet flaws, which can occur during minting. While these flaws were unintentional, they add character and rarity, making specific coins more desirable. Despite being produced in massive numbers, the 1970D penny can still be rare in certain conditions. Uncirculated coins, which have never been used in commerce, retain their original luster and sharp detail. These are the coins that appeal most to collectors. A circulated 1970D penny might be worth only a few cents above face value, but an uncirculated coin graded by a professional service could fetch significantly more. The rarity is not just about the number minted, but also about how many have survived in pristine condition over 50 years later. Auction records provide a fascinating insight into the value of these coins. For example, a 1970D Lincoln penny with a high-grade uncirculated condition and noticeable doubling on the obverse has sold for several $100s in specialized coin auctions. Standard uncirculated examples without errors still command attention from collectors, often selling for a few dollars each, which may not seem like much compared to rarer coins, but for pennies, that is a remarkable increase over face value. It's a reminder that even the smallest coin can hold real financial and historical worth. Identifying a real 1970D Lincoln penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. The first step is the mint mark. A small D beneath the date indicates it was minted in Denver. Next, examine the date closely for signs of doubling or irregularities. The coin's metal composition can also provide clues. Genuine pre-1982 pennies have that distinct copper look and feel. Fakes are rare but do exist, especially when a coin has an error that makes it valuable. Comparing the coin to authenticated images or consulting a professional grading service is the safest way to confirm authenticity. There are also some fun details that make the 1970D penny more interesting than its humble appearance suggests. For instance, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is finely detailed, and if you look closely, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. This level of detail is remarkable given the small size of the coin. Additionally, the coin reflects the era in which it was made, capturing a snapshot of the early 1970s in American society. The wear and tear on circulated coins tell a story of everyday life, commerce, and history. Collectors love the 1970D Lincoln penny not just for its monetary value but for the story it carries. Each coin is a piece of American history, a miniature artifact that connects us to the past. The subtle variations, the occasional errors, and the enduring design all contribute to its appeal. Collectors enjoy hunting for these coins, examining them for imperfections or unique characteristics, and appreciating the craftsmanship that went into producing billions of them, yet leaving room for rare gems to emerge. Even decades after its creation, the 1970D Lincoln penny remains a coin that sparks curiosity and excitement. It reminds us that history is often found in the small things, that value is not always immediately visible, and that ordinary objects can become extraordinary when viewed through the lens of time and attention to detail. Next time you hold a penny, consider this. It might just be more than change. It could be a doorway into history, a collector's treasure, or a piece of art that has survived through generations. The 1970D Lincoln penny invites us to look closer, to question what we think is ordinary, and to discover the hidden stories that lie in plain sight. So, as you sift through coins in your pocket or at the bottom of a jar, Remember the 1970 Lincoln penny. Look for the mint mark, check for doubling, appreciate the details of Lincoln's profile and the memorial on the reverse, and imagine the journey this small coin has taken over 50 years. Each penny carries the weight of history, the quirks of minting, and the fascination of collectors who know that value is not always obvious. The next coin you examine could be more than metal. It could be a story, a rare find, or a piece of America's past waiting to be recognized. And that is the magic of the 1970 Lincoln penny. A tiny coin with a big story, inviting us all to look a little closer and discover a little wonder in the smallest places. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary that most people walk past it without a second thought, yet in the right hands it could be a key to a small fortune. Today we're diving into one such coin, the 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might look like any other penny in your pocket. But there's a story behind this unassuming piece of metal that has captured the fascination of collectors for decades. This is a coin that challenges our perception of value and rarity, and by the end of this video, you'll see why even a small copper disc can tell a big story. The 1973 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins that feature Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln first appeared on the penny in 1909, commemorating the centennial of his birth, and his portrait has graced the coin ever since. The design has evolved over the years, but the essence remains the same, a symbol of American history, leadership, and national identity. By 1973, the penny had become so common that billions were circulating nationwide, yet among those billions, a few stood out for a subtle but significant reason: the absence of a mint mark. Mint marks are small letters on coins that indicate where they were produced. In 1973, pennies were primarily minted in Philadelphia, denoted by no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. The 1973 penny without a mint mark is essentially a Philadelphia coin, which was typical for that year. However, the story of the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny goes beyond its origin. What makes this coin fascinating is the intersection of production anomalies, collector interest, and the subtle differences that can turn a common coin into a rare treasure. Let's take a step back and look at the history of 1973 in the United States. It was a year marked by significant social, political, and economic events. The Vietnam War was winding down, the Watergate scandal was unfolding, and the nation was navigating a period of cultural change. Coins, often overlooked, reflect these times. The Lincoln penny of 1973 continued to be struck in copper and zinc, using the same composition introduced in 1962, which consisted of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before the full switch to the mostly zinc pennies that would come later in 1982. The weight, feel, and color of the coin are unmistakably traditional, which appeals to collectors who value historical continuity. Visually, the 1973 Lincoln penny is familiar to anyone who has handled pennies over the years. On the obverse, you have Abraham Lincoln's right-facing profile, finely detailed and dignified. Surrounding his image are the words "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the year, 1973, to the right. Flip the coin, and you see the reverse side, which features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. The intricate depiction of the memorial, complete with its columns and steps, was one of the most detailed designs in U.S. coinage at the time. For the casual observer, it's just a penny, but for a collector, every curve of Lincoln's jawline and every line of the memorial can reveal important details about its minting quality. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny truly interesting. Most coins minted in Philadelphia that year were routine and unremarkable, but a very small number exhibit striking features that draw attention. These can include double die errors, weak strikes, or subtle die cracks. A double die penny occurs when the coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, resulting in doubled lettering or numbers. In 1973, collectors have reported a few such instances on pennies from Philadelphia. These anomalies are rare, and they create a kind of fingerprint that instantly makes a coin more valuable to the right collector. Even coins without dramatic errors are still interesting because of the sheer history and the story of their survival. After all, billions of pennies are minted each year, yet only a fraction end up in collections. Why is this penny considered rare or valuable? The 1973 no-mint mark penny isn't rare in the sense of being impossible to find, but it is rare in the context of high-grade coins. Most pennies circulating today have years of wear, scratches, and discoloration. A 1973 penny in uncirculated condition, with a full luster and no visible marks, is considerably harder to find than a worn version. Add to that the presence of a die error, and you're looking at a coin that can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on its condition. It's this combination of scarcity, historical interest, and minting quirks that make the coin appealing to collectors. To put numbers to it, let's look at some real auction examples. In the past decade, several 1973 no-mint mark pennies with strong eye appeal and uncirculated condition have sold for hundreds of dollars. One particular coin graded as MS-65 by professional grading services fetched over $300 at auction, a significant premium over face value. Meanwhile, coins exhibiting minor doubling or die cracks have sometimes sold for more, highlighting the premium collector's place on unique features. The market fluctuates, but the consistent trend is clear. Condition and uniqueness drive value, even for a coin as seemingly ordinary as a 1973 penny. So how can you identify a real 1973 no-mint mark penny versus a fake or altered coin? First, check the date carefully. The numbers should be sharp and consistent with the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse. Examine the coin's color and weight. Authentic 1973 pennies struck in Philadelphia are composed of 95% copper, so they have a distinct reddish tone and weight of about 3.11 grams. Counterfeit coins often have discrepancies in these areas, sometimes appearing lighter, darker, or oddly proportioned. Use a magnifying glass to look for die markers, doubling, or unusual lines on the surface. Professional grading and authentication services exist for collectors who want to be absolutely certain, and investing in this kind of verification is often worthwhile if the coin shows unusual characteristics. Beyond its technical details, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny carries some fun and surprising facts. For example, although it was produced in Philadelphia, the sheer volume of coins minted that year means that most collectors will never encounter a high-grade specimen. The coin's small size belies its historical significance, as it represents a moment in U.S. history when pennies were still made predominantly from copper and before inflation and rising metal costs changed coin composition. Some enthusiasts even enjoy hunting for these coins in rolls from banks, turning it into a modern treasure hunt with the thrill of discovery at every turn. Collectors love this coin today for several reasons. It embodies a tangible connection to the past, a piece of everyday life that has persisted for half a century. It offers opportunities for specialization, such as focusing on no-mint mark coins, high grades, or minor errors. The Lincoln Penny series is one of the most popular in American numismatics, and within that series, 1973 no-mint mark pennies hold a sweet spot. Not impossibly rare, yet special enough to be coveted. Owning one is both an investment and a historical artifact, a reminder that even ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories. In conclusion, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a lens into American history, a testament to the art of coin design, and a symbol of the thrill of collecting. Whether it's the subtle beauty of its copper composition, the precision of Lincoln's portrait, or the excitement of finding a rare uncirculated example, this penny offers something for everyone. The next time you find a penny on the street, take a closer look. It might just be hiding a story waiting to be told. Perhaps, among the common coins in circulation today, another 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is lying in wait, ready to surprise the next curious collector. Keep your eyes sharp, your hands ready, and remember that even the smallest coin can hold a world of history and possibility. Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but hides a fascinating story beneath its copper surface. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins for collectors and enthusiasts alike, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. This small coin has captured the attention of numismatists across the United States, not because it's flashy, but because of the subtle details and rare features that make it stand out. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this penny is more than just pocket change and why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a single piece. The 1978 Lincoln penny, part of the long-running series honoring Abraham Lincoln, was minted during a time when the United States was experiencing both economic and cultural shifts. Unlike most coins that proudly display a mint mark to show where they were produced, a 1978 penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark might seem trivial, but for collectors, it becomes a key identifier. The Lincoln Cent has been in continuous production since 1909, and every change, every variation, tells a story about the era in which it was made. The 1978 edition carries with it both the legacy of Lincoln and the story of late 20th century America. In 1978, the United States Mint continued to produce pennies primarily from a copper-based alloy. These coins were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them the warm reddish hue that many collectors find appealing. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that had already been in circulation for nearly 70 years. Lincoln's profile is dignified, with careful attention to the details of his hair and beard. The words "In God We Trust" arc above his head, with liberty to his left and the year 1978 to his right. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, which had replaced the wheat ears design in 1959, dominates the center, commemorating the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above the memorial, the words "United States of America" are inscribed, and below, 1 cent, the phrase "E pluribus unum" stretches subtly across the top of the memorial. The design itself is so familiar that many people overlook the craftsmanship, but collectors know that even small details can make a world of difference. What makes the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny especially interesting are the subtle variations and errors that sometimes occur during production. While it wasn't an unusual year for the mint, a small number of these coins were struck with doubling on the date or doubling on the letters, a phenomenon known as a double die. These variations are incredibly rare and instantly increase a coin's value. Other errors that collectors watch for include off-center strikes, clipped planchets where part of the coin is missing, or unusual coloring due to variations in the copper alloy. Each of these anomalies transforms a common penny into a sought-after collectible, and that's part of what gives the 1978 no-mint mark penny its mystique. So why is this particular penny valuable? To understand that, it's important to consider rarity, demand, and condition. While millions of pennies were minted in 1978, the no-mint mark variety, especially those in uncirculated condition, are much harder to find today. Many of the coins produced in Philadelphia were spent immediately and show the wear and tear of everyday use, while others were preserved by careful collectors. When a coin like this remains in mint condition, it becomes a window into the past, a coin that tells a story of America in 1978. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and a 1978 no-mint mark penny that has sharp details, full luster, and no scratches can command a premium price. Real-world examples show just how much collectors value these coins. At auction, a high-grade 1978 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition can sell for several $100s, while examples with significant errors or unusual features can fetch thousands. There are documented cases of coins with subtle doubling on the date or on the lettering achieving remarkable prices because they are so scarce. These auction results demonstrate that even a coin that seems ordinary to most people can carry extraordinary value for the right collector. For numismatists, discovering a rare variation is like finding a hidden gem in plain sight. Identifying a genuine 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is relatively straightforward, but there are important details to look for. First, the absence of a mint mark is a key identifier, confirming it was struck in Philadelphia. The weight and dimensions should match standard specifications: 3.11 grams in weight and 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Examine the coin carefully under magnification, looking for the sharpness of Lincoln's features and the clarity of the inscriptions. Any signs of irregularities, such as unusual coloring, raised lines, or doubling, may indicate a rare variation or error. Counterfeit coins are extremely rare for this particular year, but buyers should always be cautious and, when in doubt, Seek verification from a professional grading service. Learning to recognize the subtle cues that differentiate a standard coin from a collectible variant is part of what makes coin collecting both challenging and rewarding. There are also some fun and surprising details that make the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny fascinating. For instance, while most people know the coin honors Abraham Lincoln, many might not realize that the design on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, includes a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the building. It's so small that it is barely visible without magnification, but it's there, a hidden detail that reflects Brenner's attention to detail and the mint's dedication to craftsmanship. Another interesting fact is that the 1970s were a transitional period for U.S. coins, with inflation, rising metal costs, and public interest in coinage leading to small experiments in alloy composition and design clarity. Each coin minted in 1978 carries a trace of that history, a snapshot of an era when coins were both practical and symbolic. Collectors love the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny for its combination of accessibility and potential rarity. It's a coin that is easy enough for beginners to find in rolls of change or at coin shops, yet it holds the excitement of discovery when a rare error or exceptional specimen appears. This duality makes it an appealing coin for collectors of all levels. Its connection to Lincoln adds historical significance, while the potential for hidden variations keeps the collecting experience fresh and engaging. Unlike modern coins, which are often mass-produced with little variation, the 1978 penny carries a sense of uniqueness, a reminder that every coin has its own story. Today, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny continues to capture the imaginations of collectors and history enthusiasts. Even decades after it was minted, it serves as a bridge between the past and the present, a tangible connection to the history of the United States. Finding one in exceptional condition or discovering a rare error is like uncovering a hidden treasure, a reward for patience, knowledge, and a keen eye. Its story reminds us that even the most familiar objects can hold secrets and value beyond what meets the eye. And for those who are drawn to the world of numismatics, the 1978 penny remains a symbol of possibility and discovery, so the next time you glance at a penny on the sidewalk or in your pocket, consider this. Beneath its modest surface could lie a story worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, a subtle clue to history, and a collectible treasure waiting to be recognized. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a conversation with the past, a piece of artistry, and a testament to the enduring appeal of coin collecting. Keep your eyes open, study the details, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hold in your hand a coin that connects you to the rich tapestry of American history in a way few other objects can. Every penny has a story, but some, like the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, are waiting for the right person to uncover their secrets. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so ordinary to some, yet incredibly intriguing to those who understand its story. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1979 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that may seem simple at first glance, but carries layers of history, craftsmanship, and even a touch of mystery that has collectors around the country fascinated. What makes this penny more than just pocket change? Let's find out. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny is part of a series that has been a staple of American coinage for decades. Featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, it continues a legacy that began in 1909, the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Minted in Denver, the D-Mint mark stamped beneath the date signals its origin. To the casual eye, it may appear like any other penny from the late 1970s, but for collectors, it carries subtle nuances that make it worth paying attention to. The year 1979 was an interesting time for the United States, both economically and culturally. It was a year marked by inflation and a renewed interest in coins among collectors, particularly those looking to complete their Lincoln Cent collections. The Lincoln penny itself, designed by Victor David Brenner, had undergone minor changes over the decades, but its core elements, the profile of Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat ears design on the reverse, remained constant until the mid-1950s when the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial. By 1979, the reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was in place from 1959 onward. The 1979 D penny was struck primarily in copper, consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition standard for pennies at the time. Its diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, and it weighs just over 3 grams. One of the more subtle points of interest for this particular coin is the quality of the strike. Coins from the Denver Mint in 1979 are known for having clean, sharp details, though some circulation examples show signs of wear and minor surface blemishes. There are also reported varieties and errors that can occur, including double die obverse varieties, though they are rare. These small errors, when authentic, can drastically increase a coin's value among collectors. What makes the 1979 D Lincoln penny particularly intriguing to collectors is not just the coin itself, but the context in which it was minted. The late 1970s marked a period of transition for the U.S. Mint, with increased production but also more scrutiny from collectors looking for unusual or scarce examples. Unlike pennies from the early 20th century, which are often prized for their age and historical context, the 1979 D stands out because of its condition and the occasional presence of minting anomalies. Coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition with full luster and no signs of wear are especially sought after. In terms of value, most 1979 D pennies that are in circulated condition typically hold nominal worth, ranging from 1 cent to a few dollars depending on condition. However, uncirculated examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can reach higher prices, often between $5 and $25. Certain error coins, such as those with double dies or die cracks, have sold at auctions for several $100s or more, though these are rare finds. Collectors actively monitor listings, coin shows, and online auctions, always on the lookout for coins that display exceptional detail or unusual characteristics. So how can you tell if a 1979 D Lincoln penny is authentic or potentially valuable? First, inspect the mint mark. The Denver D should be clearly struck beneath the date, not off-center or smudged. Examine Lincoln's profile. In uncirculated coins, the details of his hair, coat, and facial features should be crisp and well-defined. On the reverse, check the Lincoln memorial carefully. Counterfeit coins often miss the intricate lines of the memorial and the tiny inscriptions along the base. If you suspect a coin may be an error variety or exceptionally well-preserved, having it professionally graded is the safest way to confirm authenticity and value. Beyond its basic details, the 1979 D penny carries a few fun facts that add to its charm. For one, this coin was produced during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with more automated striking processes, leading to exceptionally consistent coins, but also the occasional anomaly. Some coins show slight doubling on the date or mint mark, which can be incredibly subtle and only visible under magnification. Another interesting point is that while copper prices were on the rise during this period, it was still cheaper to produce pennies with the traditional 95% copper content than to experiment with alternatives. The transition to predominantly zinc pennies wouldn't occur until 1982, making the 1979 D one of the last pennies to contain mostly copper in significant circulation. Collectors today appreciate the 1979 D Lincoln penny for several reasons. First, it represents a snapshot of late 20th century America, linking everyday currency with broader historical trends. Second, the coin's availability in high-grade condition allows new collectors to acquire pieces that are both affordable and historically meaningful. Finally, for those hunting errors and varieties, the 1979 D presents opportunities to find subtle differences that can elevate a common penny into a prized collectible. Whether displayed in a binder, stored in a capsule, or carefully examined under a loupe, this penny connects enthusiasts with the artistry and craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Interestingly, the 1979 D also reflects a moment in time when Lincoln's legacy continued to resonate with Americans. The choice to feature him on every 1-cent coin for over 7 decades is a testament to his enduring influence. The small details of his portrait, the inscriptions, and the reverse memorial design all tell a story of respect and commemoration. Every scratch, every glint of copper, and every subtle error on a 1979 D penny adds to that story, making it more than just a coin. It becomes a tangible piece of history. For those who may find a 1979 D penny in change or tucked away in a collection, it's worth a closer look. The excitement often comes not from the coin's face value, but from the thrill of discovery. Is it an uncirculated specimen? Does it show signs of a rare doubling error? Could it be a hidden gem waiting for the right collector to notice it? Even coins that appear ordinary can hold surprises for those who know what to look for. In the end, the 1979 VDB Lincoln penny is a reminder that even the most common objects can carry stories and value beyond their immediate use. It invites curiosity, encourages careful observation, and rewards those who take the time to explore the history behind the metal. Collectors love it because it represents both accessibility and the chance for discovery, bridging everyday life with the fascinating world of numismatics. So next time you come across a 1979 VDB penny, take a moment to examine it. Look at Lincoln's profile, check the mint mark, and consider the history it represents. Could this small coin hold a subtle error that makes it rare? Could it be an uncirculated treasure hidden in a roll of pocket change? The answers may surprise you, and the journey of exploring its story is part of the charm. This tiny piece of copper is more than just currency. It is a link to the past, a challenge to your eyes and curiosity, and a symbol of the enduring fascination with coins that have quietly shaped American history. Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, so small that most people toss it into a jar or forget it in their pocket, yet so special that some collectors would pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars to own it. Today, we're diving into one of those fascinating coins, the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary penny, just like the ones jingling in your change. But this coin carries a story that could surprise you. From its history and design to rare errors and auction values, we're uncovering why this unassuming piece of copper could be more important than you think. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln Cents, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. These pennies replaced the Indian head cent and became instantly iconic, showing Lincoln's profile on the obverse side, a design by Victor David Brenner. By 1984, the Lincoln penny had been circulating for 75 years, and it was a common coin, struck in vast quantities. Yet, not every 1984 penny is ordinary. Those minted without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia, which at the time was the primary facility for coin production in the United States. The absence of a mint mark tells you this penny originated from Philadelphia, a small detail that becomes crucial for collectors seeking rarities or specific variants. 1984 was an interesting year for the Lincoln Cent series. It marked a period when the coin was still primarily composed of a copper-based alloy. Specifically, these pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been standard for decades. It wasn't until 1982 that the U.S. Mint began shifting most pennies to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating, due to rising copper costs. So, a 1984 penny could actually be either mostly copper or mostly zinc depending on the batch, and that distinction makes certain examples more interesting to collectors. This also means that if you find a 1984 penny without a mint mark, checking its weight can reveal whether it's the older copper variety or the newer zinc-based type. The difference is subtle but important, with copper pennies weighing 3.11 grams and zinc pennies slightly lighter at 2.5 grams. Visually, the coin carries the familiar Lincoln design. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's profile facing right, crisp and dignified, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1984 stamped to the right. The reverse, at that time, features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959, commemorating Lincoln's 150th birthday. For many, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is more than decorative. It's a tiny tribute to a pivotal moment in American history. Subtle details like the tiny statue of Lincoln visible within the memorial columns can reveal how meticulously the mint struck these coins. Errors and variations, even small doubling of letters or numbers, can instantly elevate a penny from common to collectible status. One reason the 1984 no mint mark penny draws attention is because of its potential errors. While most circulated pennies are straightforward, a few unusual mistakes slipped through the mint's quality control. Some coins display doubling, known as a double die, where letters or numbers appear slightly offset, giving a shadowed effect. Others may have die cracks, small raised lines across the surface caused by a worn or damaged die during the striking process. These errors are not always easy to spot, but when discovered, they can transform a penny from mere change into a sought-after collectible. Even the smallest misalignment or irregularity can attract serious collectors. But beyond errors, why is this particular coin considered valuable? The 1984 no-mint mark penny is scarce in certain conditions. While millions were minted, very few survived uncirculated or in pristine condition. Coins that have never been handled, showing full luster and no scratches or nicks, are highly prized. Collectors and investors often seek these coins because they represent a snapshot of history frozen in time, untouched for decades. The rarity is not always about numbers but about condition. A penny in flawless, uncirculated state can be far more valuable than a circulated one, even if the circulated coin is older. Real-world examples highlight just how collectible these pennies can be. In auctions and sales, an uncirculated 1984 no-mint mark penny can sell for anywhere from a few dollars for a lower-grade example to over $50 or more for a top-quality specimen. Errors dramatically increase that value. For instance, a 1984 penny exhibiting a clear double die on the date or lettering could fetch several $100s, depending on its condition. These auction results show that what seems like an ordinary piece of copper can, in the right hands, become a prized asset. Collectors often scour rolls of change or visit coin shows hoping to find such hidden treasures, turning a simple coin hunt into an exciting adventure. Identifying a genuine 1984 no-mint mark penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. First, check the mint mark area. Philadelphia coins have no letter there, while Denver and San Francisco coins do. Next, examine the weight to determine if it is the copper or zinc variety. Look closely at the design details, especially Lincoln's features and the columns of the memorial, for any anomalies or doubling. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can reveal details invisible to the naked eye. Finally, condition matters. Coins with scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear are generally less valuable, while sharp, clean examples attract attention. Counterfeit coins exist, but most are easily distinguishable to a careful collector familiar with the subtleties of Lincoln cents. There are also some fun facts that make the 1984 penny more interesting. For one, 1984 was a year of high production but low error rates, so finding a mistake from that year is extra special. It's also part of a generation of coins that straddled the change from primarily copper pennies to mostly zinc ones, making it a transitional piece in U.S. coin history. Some collectors even note that these pennies carry a particular patina when aged, a reddish-brown sheen that adds character and makes them visually striking. Despite their small size, they represent a moment of economic and cultural history, reflecting materials, design trends, and the minting process of the early 1980s. Collectors love the 1984 no-mint mark penny not just for its potential value, but for the thrill of discovery. Hunting for these coins can feel like searching for hidden treasure, whether in rolled coins from the bank, old jars of change, or at coin shows and auctions. Each coin carries a story, connecting the collector to a moment in history, to the hands that first spent it, and to the meticulous work of the mint that produced it. Owning a penny like this is a tangible link to the past, a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold significance. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you drop a penny into a jar or find one on the sidewalk, it might not just be spare change. It could be a small piece of history, a coin with a hidden story waiting to be discovered. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can hold extraordinary potential. Whether you are a casual collector or a serious numismatist, this penny reminds us that treasure can appear in the most unexpected places, sometimes just waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Keep an eye on your pennies, because the next one you pick up might just be more special than you ever imagined. Welcome back. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin so familiar you might overlook it, yet it carries a story that could surprise you. Today, we're talking about a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but for collectors and history enthusiasts, it's anything but. The 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You may have seen pennies from this year on your kitchen counter or in a jar of spare change, but there's something quietly fascinating about this specific coin that deserves a closer look. The 1988 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of 1-cent coins that feature Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the obverse, or front, of the coin. Lincoln first appeared on the penny in 1909, marking the centennial of his birth. Over the decades, this design has remained a constant symbol of American history, yet each year brings subtle differences in minting, metal composition, and collectible interest. The 1988 issue stands out not only because of its design but also because of its minting anomalies, which can make it a hidden gem for coin collectors. In 1988, the United States Mint produced pennies primarily for circulation, using the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins minted in Philadelphia during this period typically did not carry a mint mark. This is why the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny originates from Philadelphia. That tiny omission of a letter, or in this case, the absence of one, can make all the difference to collectors. While the public may see it as a routine penny, numismatists or coin enthusiasts recognize that coins without a mint mark can sometimes be less common in high-quality condition than their Denver counterparts, which are marked with a small d. The metal composition of the 1988 penny is largely copper-plated zinc. The coin is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, continuing the post-1982 formula change that reduced the cost of production. The front, or obverse, of the coin carries the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Lincoln's bust is framed by the words, "In God we trust" above, and the word liberty to the left. The year 1988 sits neatly to the right of Lincoln. On the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Within the memorial, if you look closely, tiny engravings of the statue of Lincoln are visible, a detail often overlooked but appreciated by collectors for its fine craftsmanship. What makes the 1988 no-mint mark penny particularly interesting to collectors are the subtle variations and rare errors that can occur during the minting process. For instance, some coins from this year were struck with slight doubling on the date or lettering, known as a doubling error. Others might show signs of off-center strikes, where the design is slightly misaligned with the edges of the coin. These variations are not flaws in the sense of being defective. Rather, they are unique characteristics that make each coin distinct. Collectors often seek these anomalies, as they can significantly increase the value of a seemingly ordinary penny. The rarity and value of the 1988 no-mint mark penny come primarily from condition and these minor errors. A standard circulated penny from 1988 might only be worth its face value, barely a cent over the cost of production. However, coins that are in uncirculated condition, showing no signs of wear, can fetch higher prices among collectors. When combined with specific errors such as doubling or unusual striking, the value can climb even further. For example, coins that exhibit a clear doubling of the date can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on the prominence of the doubling and the coin's overall quality. A pristine, uncirculated 1988 penny with a noticeable error could be considered a rare find for any collection. Real-life examples help illustrate this. In online auctions and private sales, 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies in mint condition, free from scratches or discoloration, have been recorded selling for around $5 to $10. Coins with doubling or off-center errors can see prices soar into the hundreds. While this may not rival the prices of early 20th century rare pennies, it still represents a significant premium over the coin's face value. It's a reminder that even coins produced in the 1980s, a relatively modern period in numismatic terms, can hold surprising value if they exhibit unique characteristics or are preserved in excellent condition. Identifying a genuine 1988 no-mint mark penny requires careful observation. First, ensure the absence of a mint mark above the date. This confirms it was minted in Philadelphia. Next, examine the surface of the coin under good lighting. Look for sharp details in Lincoln's profile, the lettering, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Genuine coins will have consistent weight and feel, roughly 2.5 grams, and a slightly reflective coppery finish on the front with a zinc core visible along the edges if worn. Counterfeit or altered coins are extremely rare for this series, but be cautious of artificially polished or plated coins, which may be attempting to mimic an error or uncirculated condition. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can reveal the subtle features that confirm authenticity. There are also some fun facts about the 1988 penny that add to its charm. Unlike older pennies, the 1988 penny is largely resistant to corrosion thanks to its zinc core, making it easier to find in relatively good condition despite decades of circulation. The Lincoln Memorial on the back contains a tiny figure of Lincoln himself, a detail that was cleverly designed to reward attentive observers. Additionally, some collectors enjoy the fact that 1988 sits near the midpoint of the modern copper-plated zinc era, representing a shift in materials that continues to influence penny production to this day. It's a coin that bridges history and modernity in a small, unassuming package. Collectors appreciate the 1988 no-mint mark penny not only for its potential value but also for its connection to a broader story of American coinage. It's a tangible link to the Philadelphia Mint, to a design that has spanned more than a century, and to the subtle artistry and craftsmanship involved in everyday objects we often overlook. For those who hunt for coins, this penny represents the thrill of discovery. The chance that a coin from a jar, a drawer, or even your pocket could hold a small but fascinating secret. The combination of history, design, and potential rarity creates a sense of excitement that keeps collectors engaged and eager to learn more. Even today, the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny draws attention at coin shows, in private collections, and on online marketplaces. Enthusiasts admire the delicate details, the smooth copper finish, and the subtle variations that make each coin unique. The fact that a coin from as recently as 1988 can still command interest shows that numismatics isn't just about ancient or early American coins. It's about appreciating the stories and possibilities hidden in every piece of metal. For collectors, this penny is a reminder that value isn't only measured in dollars but also in curiosity, history, and the joy of discovery. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you spot a seemingly ordinary penny, it could be more than it appears. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may sit quietly among your loose change, but with careful eyes, an appreciation for history, and a bit of luck, it could reveal a story worth far more than its face value. Every coin has a tale, and this one reminds us that even modern pennies can hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. Keep an eye on those coins because the ordinary can often be extraordinary, and the next rare find could be right in your hand. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people pass by every day, yet only a few collectors truly understand its hidden value. A coin so ordinary in appearance, yet extraordinary in its rarity. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a piece of American history that quietly holds a fascinating place in the world of coin collecting. By the end of this video, you might start checking your own pocket change with a brand new sense of curiosity. The 1994 Lincoln penny is a 1-cent coin produced by the United States Mint. Unlike its more common siblings, this particular penny carries no mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not add a mint mark to pennies. At first glance, it might look like any other penny you've seen sitting in your wallet. Copper in color, featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, it seems ordinary. But as we'll discover, this simple coin has a few surprises that make it special to collectors. To understand this coin, we need to travel back to 1994. The United States was experiencing a period of steady economic growth, and the Lincoln penny had already been a staple of American currency for over 85 years. The Lincoln penny itself was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it has remained a symbol of American history ever since. By 1994, the coin had undergone various minor changes, primarily in its composition and the design of the reverse, yet the iconic Lincoln portrait remained unchanged. The 1994 penny is made primarily of copper with a small amount of zinc. The obverse, or front of the coin, displays the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a detail that has remained consistent since the coin's original release. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the tiny figure of Lincoln visible between the columns, a detail that many casual observers never notice. This coin is relatively standard in size and weight, just over 19 millimeters in diameter and weighing about 3.11 grams. What sets the 1994 no-mint mark penny apart are subtle factors that collectors look for. In general, pennies without mint marks from Philadelphia are more common than some rare errors from other mints. But this particular year has captured attention because of certain variations and die characteristics. Some coins show a double die, where parts of the lettering or the date appear slightly doubled due to a minting error. Others may show unusual strikes or variations in the copper coloring. While not every coin will have these features, even standard 1994 no-mint mark pennies in perfect condition are becoming increasingly collectible because coins from the early 1990s were circulated heavily, meaning uncirculated examples are harder to find out. So why is this coin valuable? Unlike rare pennies from the 1940s or 1950s, the 1994 Lincoln penny doesn't carry a historical scarcity from age or low production numbers. Its rarity comes from condition and collector demand. Most pennies from 1994 have been handled, spent, and worn, reducing their grade. A single uncirculated penny with sharp details and no blemishes can command higher prices because collectors and investors are always searching for coins in pristine condition. Even small errors, like a doubled die or a slightly off-center strike, can make a 1994 penny significantly more desirable and increase its market value. Auction records show the appeal of these coins. For example, uncirculated 1994 no-mint mark pennies graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services have sold for multiple dollars, far above face value. In the world of coin collecting, that might not sound like much, but it's a dramatic increase when compared to the millions of these pennies originally minted. Coins with minor minting errors or unusual characteristics can reach even higher prices, sometimes in the tens of dollars range, which is remarkable for a coin that was initially worth just 1 cent. Collectors often search through bags of pennies, hoping to spot these subtle variations, knowing that the difference between a normal penny and a valuable error could be just a fraction of an inch. If you're curious about identifying a genuine 1994 no-mint mark penny, there are a few key things to look for. The date should be clearly struck and centered, without smudging or doubling unless it's a known double die error. The Lincoln portrait should be detailed, with sharp lines in the hair and beard. The Lincoln memorial on the reverse should have clearly visible columns and the tiny figure of Lincoln inside. Weight and diameter are also important. Authentic pennies should weigh around 3.11 grams and measure about 19 millimeters in diameter. Many collectors use magnifying glasses or microscopes to inspect their coins carefully. Fake coins are rare in this category, but counterfeits do exist, particularly those attempting to mimic error coins. Always buy from reputable sources and consider professional grading if you believe you have a coin of significant value. Beyond the technical details, there are some fun facts that make the 1994 no-mint mark penny intriguing. The penny is part of a series that has been in continuous production since 1909, which makes it one of the longest-running coin designs in the United States. Despite being produced during a modern era, it connects directly to more than a century of American history. Many casual collectors might not realize that the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is one of the few places where a portrait of a real person is depicted on a structure within the coin design. And for those who love small details, the minuscule figure of Lincoln in the center of the memorial is a clever touch that often goes unnoticed, rewarding close inspection. Collectors today appreciate the 1994 no-mint mark penny for several reasons. First, it represents a snapshot of everyday life in the 1990s. Many people used these pennies daily without realizing they were part of a long tradition. Second, the coin's condition and potential errors make it exciting to hunt for. Finding a high-grade coin or a subtle minting variation gives collectors a sense of discovery, similar to finding a hidden gem in your own pocket change. Finally, the coin serves as an accessible entry point into numismatics. While older and rarer coins can cost thousands or even millions, a 1994 penny is approachable, yet it offers a taste of the thrill and satisfaction that comes with collecting. Even beyond its monetary value, this coin tells a story. It's a reminder of the meticulous craft of minting coins, of the care and attention required to strike each piece with precision. It's also a glimpse into American history, connecting us to Abraham Lincoln and the symbolism embedded in our currency. Collectors are drawn to these pennies not just for what they are worth, but for what they represent. A tangible link to the past and a small piece of art that travels through time in the palm of your hand. So the next time you find a penny in your pocket, take a closer look. Could it be a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition, quietly waiting to surprise you? Could it have a subtle double die or an unusual strike that sets it apart from the millions of ordinary pennies minted that year? These coins are a reminder that even the most common objects can hold extraordinary stories and hidden value. In the world of coin collecting, curiosity is the greatest treasure. The 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny may not make headlines like coins from the early 20th century, but it offers a unique thrill to anyone willing to look closely, study carefully, and appreciate the small details. It's proof that history, artistry, and value can be found in the most unexpected places, sometimes in something as simple as a penny. Every coin has a story, and the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is no exception. It invites us to explore, to question, and to discover. Who knows what treasures lie in the loose change in your own wallet? One careful glance might reveal a coin that has quietly traveled decades, connecting the past to the present, and offering a small but meaningful reminder that even the humblest of coins can hold a fascinating history. Keep your eyes open, study the details, and remember that in the world of numismatics, ordinary doesn't always mean common. Sometimes it means extraordinary. The 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is waiting, quietly, to be noticed, appreciated, and cherished. And maybe, just maybe, the next coin you pick up could hold a story worth telling. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance, yet it carries a story that could fascinate collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Today, we're diving into one of those curious pieces of American history, the 1979 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin that seems simple, yet hides layers of intrigue, rarity, and value. You might have one tucked away in a jar or forgotten in your wallet, and what we're about to explore could change the way you look at it forever. The 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is, at its core, an everyday coin from the United States. It features Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, on the obverse side, looking thoughtful and resolute, a reminder of a time when the country was navigating change and growth. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design first introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. While most pennies are often overlooked in daily transactions, this coin is a small window into American numismatic history, and its subtle differences make it a point of fascination for collectors today. The story of the 1979 Lincoln penny begins with its production by the United States Mint. This was a time when the country was experiencing economic shifts, with inflation rising and small coins taking on more significance in everyday transactions. In 1979, the Mint produced billions of pennies across its facilities, primarily at Philadelphia and Denver. Typically, pennies produced in Denver carry a small D mint mark under the date, while those from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark at all. What makes the 1979 no mint mark penny interesting is that, unlike some other years, it is often confused with its Denver counterpart, leading to a unique situation for collectors trying to trace its origin and rarity. When we examine the coin itself, there are several features worth noting. The penny is made primarily of copper, specifically 95% copper with a 5% tin and zinc alloy. This composition is notable because, just a few years later, in 1982, the Mint began shifting to a mostly zinc composition due to rising copper prices. The obverse design shows Lincoln in profile, an image that has been standard since 1909, while the reverse proudly displays the Lincoln Memorial, complete with a tiny statue of Lincoln visible in the center when viewed closely. This level of detail is often overlooked by casual observers but is crucial for collectors assessing authenticity and quality. Errors and variations are part of what make any coin collectible, and the 1979 no mint mark penny has its own set of quirks. Some coins from this year exhibit double dies, where certain letters or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment in the minting process. While these errors are subtle, they can significantly increase a coin's value if confirmed by a professional grading service. Another aspect that adds intrigue is the condition of the coin. A pristine, uncirculated 1979 no-mint mark penny is much more valuable than one worn down from decades of use, making condition a key factor in its collectability. So, why is this penny considered rare or valuable by collectors? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity and demand. While millions of 1979 pennies were minted, the ones that remain in excellent condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or circulation wear, are far fewer. Add to that the appeal of the no-mint mark variety, which can be more elusive to collectors who specifically seek Philadelphia minted coins, and you have a coin that sparks curiosity and competition. It is not necessarily the rarest penny in U.S. history, but its subtle differences and the stories behind them make it highly sought after. To understand its market value, we can look at real auction and collector examples. A 1979 no-mint mark penny in circulated condition might sell for just a few dollars, reflecting its commonality. However, coins in near-perfect, uncirculated condition can fetch significantly more, sometimes reaching $50 to $100 or higher among dedicated collectors. Particularly, examples with verified double die errors or other unique minting quirks have been known to command even higher prices. These figures may not seem astronomical, but they illustrate a fascinating aspect of coin collecting. Even the smallest differences, often invisible to the untrained eye, can transform an ordinary coin into a prized collectible. For anyone curious about spotting a real 1979 no-mint mark penny, there are a few key details to watch. First, check the absence of a mint mark below the date. This indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Examine the lettering and date carefully for any doubling or unusual spacing, which could indicate an error coin. The coin's weight and composition are also telling. Authentic pennies from 1979 should weigh about 3.11 grams, reflecting the copper alloy used that year. Comparing your coin to verified reference images from trusted numismatic sources can help ensure authenticity. If you ever suspect you have a rare variant, having it professionally graded by a recognized coin grading service is the safest way to confirm its status and value. There are also some fun facts about the 1979 no-mint mark penny that make it more interesting than just its face value. For example, 1979 was the year the United States experienced the second oil crisis, and penny production was part of a broader effort by the mint to manage the nation's coin supply efficiently. Another intriguing detail is that the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side of the coin is the first U.S. coin to feature a real building, and if you look closely, you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a small Easter egg that delights collectors who appreciate craftsmanship and historical significance. These subtle touches remind us that even everyday coins can carry hidden artistry. Collectors today love the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for a variety of reasons. Its straightforward design, coupled with the potential for minor errors and its historical context, makes it an appealing piece for both novice and seasoned collectors. It is approachable, not prohibitively expensive, yet it offers the thrill of discovery when a particularly well-preserved example is found. Collectors also appreciate the connection to the Lincoln series as a whole, which spans over a century of American history and reflects changing designs, metals, and minting techniques. Holding a 1979 no-mint mark penny is like holding a small piece of that ongoing story. As we wrap up, remember this: even the most unassuming penny can hold a world of history, art, and intrigue. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look like a simple coin at first glance, but its story, rarity, and collectible potential reveal a hidden layer of fascination. The next time you open a drawer, sort through your coins, or glance at a jar of change, consider the possibility that one of these small copper discs could be more than just currency. It could be a tiny portal into the past, a collectible treasure, or a conversation starter that links you to history in a uniquely personal way. And now, the question lingers. Could the next coin you pick up be the rare find that collectors dream about? Keep looking, keep exploring, and you might just discover that the ordinary sometimes holds the extraordinary.